All right, so get ready because today we are diving deep into the world of cruise ship photography.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, you sent over some training materials from Costa Cruises. And
Yes.
honestly, I thought it was going to be like, just like sunsets and smiling families,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it turns out there's a whole lot more to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Way more to it.
So it's like a floating photo studio with a
Uh-huh.
whole bunch of unique challenges.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we've got excerpts from a training module for new photographers.
Yep.
And it covers everything from the equipment they use
Yeah.
to how they handle, let's say,
Hmm.
some difficult guests.
Yes, and don't forget about all the environmental regulations because,
Okay.
working on the open ocean means you have to be extra careful
Yeah.
with things like chemical disposal.
Yeah. And that's one of the first things that stood out to me
Right.
was how much emphasis they put on protecting the environment. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's not just about, not chucking your plastic overboard.
Right.
It's like there are procedures for everything.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
You have to think about the developing and fixing solutions, batteries.
right.
All that stuff can't just go in the regular trash.
Oh, yeah.
They've got this whole color-coded system for hazardous waste.
Wow.
And then they have these partnerships with specialized companies in different ports.
Huh.
It's like this whole logistical operation in itself.
And I bet that's just the tip of the iceberg
Oh, yeah,
when it
absolutely.
comes to the logistics on a cruise ship.
It is.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another thing that kind of surprised me,
Okay.
was how much emphasis they put on safety.
Really?
Yeah. You would think that, the biggest risk would be like
Yeah, I really like rogue waves.
rogue waves or like,
Yeah.
I don't know, pirates.
Yeah. Yes, something like that.
Yeah. But the training manual spends a lot of time on slips, trips, and falls.
Oh, really?
Apparently, they're the most common accidents,
Huh.
even more so than,
More than like passengers?
passengers
things?
falling overboard or something.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I guess when you're rushing around with
Right.
heavy equipment.
Especially on a moving ship.
Yeah, on a moving ship.
Yeah, those everyday hazards become a much bigger deal.
Exactly.
And they don't just mention it in passing.
Right.
There's a whole 5-step risk assessment process they teach.
Wow.
Like they break down potential injuries by body part.
Wow.
They go into detail about specific scenarios.
Okay.
Like what to do if you have to clean up broken glass or
Oh.
if you're working with chemicals.
And they even have
Guidelines.
guidelines for how much weight the photographer should be lifting.
Exactly.
It's incredible, the level of detail.
Right.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, do other types of event photographers have
Yeah.
this level of safety training?
That's a good question.
Like wedding photographers or people who shoot sporting events?
Yeah, you would think that safety would be paramount in any photography profession.
Yeah.
But I guess that unique environment of a cruise ship
Right.
with its constant motion,
Yeah.
the confined spaces,
Uh-huh.
and just the sheer number of people
Right.
definitely adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about the gear these photographers use because the
going.
list is pretty extensive.
It is.
And some of it, I'll admit, went right over my head.
Oh, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working with everything from, high-end digital cameras and studio lighting, all the way to like portable printers
Wow.
and this really sophisticated onboard sales system
Okay, what is that?
called SAPI.
SAMPI.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
Uh-huh.
It sounds more like something out of a sci-fi movie
Right.
than a photography setup.
Totally.
Can you break that down for me?
Yeah, so basically, think of it as like the central nervous system of the ship.
Okay.
It stands for Ship Administration and Passenger Information.
Okay.
And it manages everything
Wow.
from guest data
Okay.
to payments to like, I don't know, restaurant reservations.
Sounds like their lifeline.
Yeah, it
To
is.
keep everything organized
Yeah.
and running smoothly.
Yeah,
But with all this technology and the
Mhm.
pressure to capture
yeah,
those perfect shots,
yeah,
I can't help but wonder,
yeah.
does it ever feel like the creativity gets stifled?
That's an interesting point. I mean, while the training definitely emphasizes
Oh, yeah.
efficiency and following procedures,
Mm-hmm.
there's also a lot of focus on the artistic side of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They talk about composition techniques,
Mm-hmm.
interacting with guests to like capture genuine emotions,
Oh, okay.
and adapting their approach for different settings.
Interesting.
Yeah, like from the formal dinners to the outdoor excursions and
Yeah,
stuff.
so it's a balance
Yeah.
between the technical and the artistic. It's like
Yeah.
a dance
Right.
between capturing those fleeting moments and adhering to the strict protocols of the ship.
You got it.
Yeah.
And It's a dance they have to perform flawlessly
Yeah.
day in and day out to make sure that hundreds,
Yeah.
sometimes thousands of guests on board
Wow.
are having a good time.
Okay. And that brings us to something else I noticed throughout the materials, and it's the constant emphasis on guest satisfaction.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like this mantra
Right.
woven into every aspect of the training.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
they're in the business of preserving memories.
Right.
And happy guests are key to achieving that.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder,
Mm.
how do these photographers maintain that
Mm.
upbeat, service-oriented attitude
Right.
in such a high-pressure environment?
That is a great question. So to answer that question, I think we should look at how they actually approach different types of photography,
Yeah.
because the training goes into detail
Hmm.
about formal portraits and candid shots and
Right.
destination excursions, and each one has its own set of challenges.
It's interesting to see how they tailor their technique
Yeah,
depending on the situation.
exactly.
For those gala dinner portraits,
Mhm.
they stress the importance of creating a professional studio setup,
Oh, really?
even if it's temporary.
So they're lugging around backdrops
Well-
and lighting equipment all over the ship.
It seems so.
Wow.
They even talk about using props
Really?
and guiding guests through poses.
Mhm.
It's like a mini red carpet experience.
Yeah, it makes you realize how much work goes into making those photos look so effortless
Right?
and elegant.
Yeah.
And I imagine lighting is crucial,
Oh,
especially when you're dealing with those low light conditions.
especially in the dining room.
Yeah, in the dining room.
Yeah, they specifically mention using Bowen's lights,
Okay.
which are known for their quality and versatility.
Yeah, it makes me think of wedding photographers who
Yeah.
have to be equally adept at using lighting to
Yeah, like flatter their subjects.
yeah, flatter their subjects.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the complete opposite with those poolside candids, because instead of a controlled environment, you're dealing with,
all unpredictable.
yeah, unpredictable lighting and moving subjects.
Yeah, and probably a lot of sunscreen glare.
Right, exactly. And yet those photos often capture the most genuine moments of joy and relaxation.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
The training encourages photographers to blend in,
Okay.
to anticipate those moments of laughter,
Mm-hmm.
and use zoom lenses to get closer
Oh,
without being
oh.
intrusive.
Yeah, it sounds like a delicate balance
It is.
between capturing the action
Yeah.
and respecting people's personal space.
Right. Do they offer any tips for dealing with guests who might be camera shy
They do.
or just not in the mood for a photo op?
Yeah, they emphasize the importance of being approachable and friendly,
Okay.
using humor to put people at ease.
Mm-hmm.
They even suggest offering gentle encouragement
Like,
or alternative poses for those who are hesitant.
that's good.
It seems like a lot of it comes down to reading people's cues
Yeah.
and adjusting your approach accordingly.
It can make sense.
Right.
Because nobody wants to feel pressured
So you sit,
or
no one
uncomfortable.
wants to feel like they're being forced into something.
Yeah, especially when they're on vacation.
Right.
Right.
It's about creating a positive experience.
Exactly.
Not just snapping a photo.
Yeah. And speaking of different environments,
Yes.
destination excursions present a whole other
Yeah.
set of challenges,
Totally.
right? Because suddenly you're not just dealing with the controlled environment of the ship.
Right.
You've got unpredictable weather
Yeah.
and crowds.
And cultural sensitivities to consider.
Totally.
And yet those excursion photos are often the most sought after.
Right.
Because they're capturing those once-in-a-lifetime experiences in
Mhm.
different parts of the world.
Mhm.
So the training mentions the importance of research,
Mm-hmm.
understanding the itinerary and key landmarks,
Right.
and packing a variety of lenses to
Mhm.
capture both landscapes
Yeah.
and close-ups.
It's like a crash course in travel photography,
Yeah.
all while navigating a group of
Yeah.
excited tourists.
Yeah, and potentially language barriers.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
It makes you appreciate the range of skills these photographers need,
It really does.
from technical expertise to cultural awareness
Mhm.
and even a bit of diplomacy.
Right. They're like part-time tour guides,
Yeah.
crowd managers,
Yeah.
cultural ambassadors.
It's a reminder that cruise ship photography
Mm-hmm.
is about more than just capturing pretty pictures.
Right.
It's about preserving memories and telling stories. And showcasing the beauty and diversity of different cultures and destinations.
Absolutely.
And doing all that
Mhm.
while dealing with the occasional equipment malfunction
Right.
or a grumpy guest.
Which brings us back to the challenge
Right.
of maintaining that positive attitude
Exactly.
and professional demeanor even when things go wrong.
The training touches on handling those tricky situations.
It does.
But it's easy to read about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's another thing to actually be in the moment
Right.
dealing with a technical glitch
Mhm.
while a line of impatient guests is waiting for their photo.
It makes you wonder
Yeah.
how they train for those unpredictable moments.
Right.
Like, do they run simulations,
Yeah.
role-playing scenarios?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Uh,
The training material that we have
Yeah.
doesn't go into those specifics,
yeah.
but it does emphasize the importance of clear communication,
Uh-huh.
remaining calm under pressure,
Mhm.
and having backup plans.
It seems like a good dose of adaptability
Yeah,
and problem-solving skills
for sure.
are essential for success in this role.
And probably a sense of humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to be able to laugh off those inevitable mishaps.
Right.
And keep the energy positive.
Exactly.
But beyond those practical skills,
Yeah.
I'm curious about the artistic side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do these photographers go beyond just snapping pictures
Right.
and actually create compelling images that tell a story?
That's a great segue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the training actually spends quite a bit of time
Really?
talking about composition and framing
Right.
and capturing emotion.
Okay.
It's like a mini photography masterclass
Cool.
tailored to the unique challenges of
Mhm.
working on a cruise ship.
Now, that's something I'd love to delve into.
Yeah.
Like, how do they use those techniques
Yeah.
to elevate their work
Right.
and create something truly special? So how do they do it?
Well, the training talks about using composition techniques.
It's like the rule of thirds
Mm.
and leading lines
Uh.
to create more dynamic and visually appealing images.
It's fascinating how those principles can be applied even in like those
Yeah.
fast-paced,
Mhm.
sometimes chaotic environments.
Yeah, imagine trying to apply the rule of thirds when you've got a group of excited tourists
Right.
jostling for position in front of a
Yeah.
breathtaking sunset.
And yet, those are the moments that often make the most memorable images.
I know.
It's about finding that balance
Right.
between capturing the spontaneity of the scene
Yeah,
and using those composition techniques to guide the viewer's eye.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the training also emphasizes the importance of capturing emotion,
Oh, yeah.
those fleeting expressions
Mhm.
that reveal the story behind the smiles.
It makes you think about the difference
Yeah,
between a snapshot
right.
and a truly captivating photograph. One captures a moment in time,
Yeah.
while the other captures a feeling of connection. A memory?
And that's where the photographer's skill comes in.
It is.
Being able to anticipate those moments
Yeah.
to connect with their subject
Huh?
and use their technical skills
Right.
to create an image that evokes those emotions.
It's like they're not just photographers,
Yeah.
they're storytellers.
Yeah.
Using their lens to weave narratives
Right.
that resonate with the viewer.
And speaking of narratives,
Yeah.
I can't help but think about those unpredictable moments,
Oh, yeah.
those behind-the-scenes challenges
Right.
that don't make it into the glossy brochures.
The inevitable glitches,
Right.
the unexpected downpours, the occasional grumpy guest.
How do they handle those curveballs
Yeah.
while maintaining that positive energy
Yeah.
and ensuring guest satisfaction?
Well, the training emphasizes the importance of
Yeah.
remaining calm and professional.
Easier said than done
Oh, yeah.
when you're dealing with a technical malfunction
Right.
in the middle of a formal portrait session.
Yeah.
It's true, but they stress the importance of clear communication,
Mhm.
both with the guests
Right.
and with the team.
So if there's a problem,
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
Yep.
Apologize for any inconvenience.
Mhm.
And explain what steps are being taken to resolve it.
It's all about managing expectations
Exactly.
and finding solutions.
And having backup plans,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
right? They talk about having spare equipment on hand,
Mhm.
alternative shooting locations in case of bad weather,
Yep.
and strategies for dealing with difficult guests.
It makes you realize that cruise ship photography
Yeah.
isn't just about artistic talent.
Right.
It's about being resourceful,
Mm-hmm.
adaptable,
Yeah.
and maybe having a little bit of a
Yeah.
MacGyver-like spirit.
I love that.
Yeah.
And a thick skin.
Oh, totally.
Because not every guest is going to be
Wow.
thrilled about having their photo taken,
Especially.
especially after a long day of excursions or a few too many cocktails.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But the training emphasizes the importance of active listening,
Okay.
trying to understand the guest's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and offering solutions
Mhm.
whenever possible.
Yeah. Sometimes a simple change of scenery
Uh-huh.
or a different pose can make all the difference.
It sounds like a good dose of empathy,
For sure.
and diplomacy
Yeah.
goes a long way.
And a sense of humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Because sometimes a lighthearted comment
Yeah.
or a well-timed joke can diffuse a tense situation.
It's like they're not just photographers. They're
Not
also
What?
part-time therapists
Yeah.
and entertainers.
It's all part of the job when
Really
you're
is.
capturing memories
Mm.
and creating a positive experience for guests.
Exactly.
Well, we've really gone deep on this one, haven't we?
We have.
From environmental protocols and risk management
Yeah.
to the nuances of composition
Right.
and the art of handling those tricky situations.
Mhm.
It's clear that cruise ship photography
Yeah.
is a multifaceted profession.
It really is.
It's a fascinating blend of technical skill,
Uh-huh.
artistic vision,
Yeah.
and a genuine passion for capturing those special moments.
Absolutely.
And it's made me appreciate
Yeah.
those vacation photos even more,
It won't-
knowing the effort,
Uh-huh.
the expertise, and
Well-
the occasional behind-the-scenes scramble
Yeah.
that goes into creating them.
It's a reminder that behind every beautiful image
Mhm.
is a story
Yeah.
and often a whole team
Right.
of
Yeah.
dedicated professionals
Yeah.
working hard to make that story come to life.
And speaking of stories,
Yes.
here's a final thought for you to ponder.
Okay.
As you scroll through those vacation albums,
Right.
how might advancements in AI and facial recognition
Oh,
technology
interesting.
change the future of cruise ship photography?
Hmm.
Will it enhance the experience,
Yeah.
streamline the process,
Right.
or perhaps raise new ethical considerations?
That's a good question.
Yeah, food for thought. As technology continues to shape the world around us.
It does.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Yeah.
into the fascinating world of cruise ship photography.
It's been a pleasure.